Welcome to the Diane McClay Show, empowering life through choice. Get ready to discover new perspectives, motivation, and balance through Diane's compassionate storytelling and insightful discussions. Whether you're feeling stuck and discouraged or curious and looking for more possibilities, Diane has your back, and she's ready to take you on a journey of self-discovery and expansion. Choice is powerful, and so are you. The Diane McClay Show starts now.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Diane McClay Show. This is Diane McClay with the Empower Your Life Through Choice show. And while we're waiting for our guest to show in, I just wanted to welcome you into a beautiful spring day out here in the Pacific Northwest. And today, our goal is to help people connect to themselves and connect to nature and connect through the evolution of their own self. Kornelia Stephanie from Media Group will be joining us, and hopefully T. Carey Mitchell. And so where we're at right now is that choice and courage are two important words that I have on my wall. And the reason why they're on my wall, I had found a piece of wood out in nature. And in my story, I actually shifted out of a career that I loved and that fed my soul in order to kind of find some new freedom and new autonomy. And although it was scary at the time, it was something that I felt like I needed to do for me. And I realized at the time I was the only person who would know what was best for me. And I was the only person who could decide the path that I wanted to take, which is why choice is important to me. While we're waiting for our guest to come in, I was just connecting with my producer there. Choice and Courage is the foundation of the Choice and Courage company. And we're here to help people recognize how they can incorporate choice into their life and how they can find the courage to do new things, change things up around them, and to use nature as a way to inspire them. Kornelia, you're here. Welcome in. Thank you for jumping in on the show.
Welcome. Yes, it's wonderful to see you. I was just finishing my show, telling everybody to hop on over to the Diane McClay Show, saying, you know, she's going to inspire you to live in harmony with nature. And here I am.
Well, and I love how, things just work out. We had a little technical glitch with one of our other guests. And one of the things that I like to share with my clients is that sometimes we just can't predict what's going to happen in the world. We can't predict, we may have a plan, we may have an outline, we may have it, completely clear in our heads. And then the universe presents us with an opportunity to shift and to grow and to get a little bit outside of our comfort zone, which is where choice and courage come in. So can you jump in a little bit about kind of what you help people do with the Kornelia Stephanie Media Group and Transformation Talk Radio and connect it to choice and courage? I know we've had this conversation a couple times before.
Yeah, I just want to say it takes a lot of courage to pivot the way that you just did, and to show up in the moment in like, okay, where's the guest? How is this all going to work out? How am I going to do it? And it's going to be okay. And to stay at peace and calm so that you're not like freaking out.
Well, I feel like a duck right now in nature, right? It looks like I'm nice and calm on the surface, but my feet underneath are like, ah.
Yeah, so, and when you're done here, and it's going to be like, oh my gosh, that was incredible.
Right.
But what do I do? I help people like you that are incredible game changers, helping people to, live their best life. And through the messages what it is that you're sharing, what it is that you're bringing to the world. And I just can't even imagine if you weren't here and doing this show. I can't even imagine what a loss that would be. And so the Kornelia Stephanie Media Group, we have these incredible hosts, like today, who did we have? We had Adrienne, right? We had Adrienne
Craig. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we had Suzanne and Denise, and these are all incredible hosts that have services to offer to the people that are making their life better, right?
Right.
And so Kornelia Stephanie Media is helping entrepreneurs such as yourself grow their brand through podcasting, through video marketing, so that they can create a greater impact in the world and reach more people and have a professional platform such as Transformation Talk Radio, which we do.
Right. And that let's translate that to our listening audience. Maybe there's some people out there that are aspiring to have their own podcast or to build their brand or to build a business, but we have a lot of people in our audience that really that's not their world. So one of the things that I think is amazing about what you do in the group is not just that you've assembled this amazing collective of people with lots of different knowledges. We have that gratitude guy, David George Brooks, and we have Suzanne Taylor King with tailored with her business services, Adrian Craig. I can't name them all, but everybody has a different level of expertise that we can share their knowledge and resources with the TTR audience. But let's shift a little bit. Let's pivot to the people who might not be wanting to do their own podcast. Let's shift a little bit about what it takes to just transform your life and what it takes to really step into living the way you want to live, whether it's with a podcast or not. What are some things that you would recommend to our audience to kind of step into their autonomous self and into their power and into their sovereignty?
Well, first of all, is really to slow down and get quiet and listen within. That's going to be the first things that I would say, is to really slow down and know that you already have everything you need inside, and that whatever challenges or whatever it is that you're facing in your life, whatever you came here to be, that big dream or that little dream, whatever that is, that it is yours for the living. It is yours to make real, that you came here to experience great things in your life and to live a higher vibratory life, and that time is now and there's no need to wait. So all these wonderful podcasts, 50 million American people, or not just Americans, but people are listening to podcasts all the time. And that is to be inspired, to get insight, to start a business, to become an entrepreneur, to find resources, whatever it is that you could do to make your life better. And so for the listening audience, there's never been greater resources available today, because this is all given freely and shared freely.
Well, and it's given out of love, right? And it's given out of the belief that everybody who creates a podcast feels like they have a voice that needs to be heard, which is what I really appreciate about you and what you do with Transformation Talk Radio and our producer Jacob and with the Kornelia Stephanie Media Group, is that you have this really unique ability to kind of see the voice that is quiet in the crowd, that really needs to be given the megaphone, needs to be given the spotlight, right? So let me say thank you for you for that. But also thank you for, like, just in that moment, thank you for reminding me to slow down. Things can get a little hectic when the plan doesn't come together. When I was a kid, I used to watch the A-Team with my dad, and my dad's favorite line was the leader, Hannibal, would always, light a cigar at the end of the show, and he'd say, "I love it when a plan comes together," right? And it's really that the plan had nothing to do with what the original plan was. So being able to slow down, take a breath, step back into ourselves, and then remember that there is a message there, right? And then for us as either creators to write the message, or artists to paint the message, or even as speakers just to articulate the message in a way that touches people's hearts and reconnects them to that thing that makes them feel alive. You want to speak on that a little bit?
Well, you are the nature woman. You inspire us with nature all the time with your beautiful visuals and images, and you want us to reconnect with nature. And that is one of the main reasons why we are having the challenges that we're having, is because we had lost our reconnection with nature. And here we are now is the time to reconnect again with nature. So slowing down, listening to nature, looking at the trees, looking at the ants, looking at the deer, looking at the eagles, however it is that you can reconnect with nature, what it is that you love doing. You
Right.
and I both love hiking. We love spending time in nature. One of your previous jobs is you were a forest ranger,
Right. Right.
right? That
and
was
and not having that day-to-day access reminds me that I actually have the ability to go seek it out on my own. Jacob has a couple pictures that if he could roll while we're having this conversation, that would be great. But this morning you sent me a picture on a walk and you just happened across two young deer. What I'd like you to explain, and then and I'll share with you what I experienced on the river the other day, but that sense of peace and calm and that opportunity just to look and listen and see what's around you. But tell me what you were doing and tell me what you experienced in your body or your soul or energy when you happened to cross the deer, and what kind of messages did you kind of share?
Well, it was interesting because as I'm walking in, every morning I go out for my nature walk. I like waking up with nature. And so I haven't used an alarm clock for years and years and years. So I wake up, by my body rhythm wakes me up. And so from 6 to 7 a.m., I go for my morning walk. It's still quiet out, everything's coming alive. And so as I'm walking in the woods, all of a sudden I walk around the corner there and what do I see there?
Mm,
Two gentle deer,
wow.
two baby deer grazing, getting their morning breakfast. And they didn't even see me at first.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, I thought, wow, am I, am I invisible? Because they didn't see me. They allowed me to come so close to them because you saw with the pictures.
Right.
I was like very close. And it's when you have that vibration, that energy of calm, and you're in such gratitude and appreciation for the surroundings, that was just such an incredible uh, moment, right? Like, oh wow, too. And then always looking at the spiritual meaning behind what does it mean? Well, also getting in contact with nature, knowing what the energy of deer represents,
Hmm.
gentleness and strength. And so that's the message. And that there was the number two deer. So two is relationship and
Mm,
also partnership.
how
So
appropriate.
isn't that incredible? And
Right.
the other day when I was out on that walk, I saw a raccoon. And
Nice.
and a raccoon, is about protection.
Right. When I go out on a walk or I go out on the river and I slow down enough, what's interesting is you said they didn't even know you were there. The deer didn't know you were there. And that to me, that says that you're walking into that environment with a very balanced vibrational energy, a very neutral, balanced vibrational energy, because deer are, unless they're really acclimated to human beings, their ears are always on alert. They're always turning. They're always listening for that predator, that thing that's going to get them or scare them off. So for you to be able to approach, and reminding our listening audience, you didn't approach too close. It's not like you were petting them. You were a safe and respectable distance away from the wildlife. But that allowed you, because your vibrational energy was in balance and neutral as you entered the forest, it allowed the forest to come closer to you, and where there was almost, it almost makes me feel like there was an equal exchange. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And you
Right.
know what? It was so interesting because I needed to walk past where they were. And I almost walked back the other way because where I came from, because I didn't want to disturb them.
Right.
I didn't want to disturb. I had that. I'm like, oh man, I don't want to have to go all the way back around, right? And
Right.
I didn't want to disturb them. So I slowly started, walking up towards them, and then they
Right.
started moving
Right.
on. So
And then there's bringing back to the plan again, right? So your plan was to go for a morning walk, but if it were me, even though the walking part was the mission, I probably would have been tempted to just sit and stay as long as they were willing to let me observe them. And then if they left, then continue my walk either back to the car or more forward. Well, I was on the river the other day. I sent you a couple of pictures, and uh, just I'm in the Columbia Gorge, and it was flat, a rare windless day, beautiful sun. It felt like summer, except the water temperature was 51. And I just felt the energy of the water surrounding me, the Columbia River, and also the energy of the land. Because as you look down the Columbia River, you see this old mountain, which is actually the plug of an extinct volcano. So my brain at that point started thinking about ancient times and ancient peoples and who was here before me and what is the story of this landscape. It's got a great geologic story to it. And so I was on a jet ski and I actually like turned the engine off and just allowed myself to drift. And although I didn't see any, I saw some osprey, but what was interesting about that is there was almost like this conscious choice to disconnect from the noise of our regular everyday life and a conscious choice to connect to something that was a little more quiet. So I think that's something our listeners can do, right? When they're feeling stressed or when they're feeling overwhelmed, is you mentioned slowing down. We talked about breathing. We talked about connecting to nature in a certain way. What are a couple other things that people can do to kind of nourish themselves and feel like they can thrive through whatever it is that's coming at them?
Well, one of my favorite all-time healing modalities practices is feeling, and also is journaling. So I'm always journaling. I always want to know what my inner self is feeling, what my inner self wants to communicate, what my thoughts are, how I'm feeling today. What is it that I need? What is it that I want more of? Just what's going on? What are the values? Am I being true to my values?
Mm.
And this is the other thing, is that we're growing and we're changing so much, that with all of that, it's a constant letting go. It's a constant letting go. It's a constant releasing and letting go. So the best thing to do is to know that you are becoming your true authentic self, living in your highest vision, in harmony with nature, and that the best thing to do is slow down so that you can really listen to what lights you up.
And that voice is pretty powerful. I think sometimes it gets drowned out by the shoulds and the have tos, and I feel like I must, and especially if somebody has a family or if they have a job or multiple jobs in our Western society. So really, it feels like a luxury to slow down, but the reality is it's a necessity. And being able to ask the question, am I being true to myself? Do I need something more? Is there something that I'm craving that's different than what I have? That's effectively what helped me shift away from the park ranger job. Is even though there were some circumstances that were pretty difficult to manage at the time, when I made the choice to step away from that job, really what I was doing is I was stepping away from the shoulds and I was stepping away from the have tos. And the healing that I did in between the one dream job of my life and now the second dream job of my life is that I really got to ask myself what do I need? And and where do I want to be, or how do I want to show up? And I'm so grateful that you entered my path. Uh, Now that I'm down the road and on the other side of that transformation, what my relationship with you now means is that my voice can actually be heard in a completely different way. And I think that's important in today's world, is not just staying in the status quo because that's what's comfortable, but really feeling that sense of discomfort, but knowing that the heart and the soul is saying, hey, there's something more for you, right?
Yeah.
There's something more and you owe it to yourself to go get it.
Yeah. And you know what I would like to say? I would like to say for the listeners today, if they would like to support you, to go to and give you a 5-star review,
Yeah,
which
thanks.
which I would really like for everybody to do. And then you go to your favorite Apple podcast app, or your Spotify, or your Google. Those are the top three. And go leave a 5-star review for Diane, because she is. Can you imagine what it would be like with her not being here? This is how I see it. And so, what a wonderful gift you are to the world with sharing your passion and your vision for nature, and all the wonderful resources that you continuously remind us to connect with, Diane.
Hey, thank you for that. And that's a reminder. I'll put a request out there for people to just go to my YouTube channel. just go to Diane McClay, just Google Diane McClay YouTube, and all of my podcasts up to this point are loaded there in the video format. So you can see some of the nature pictures that we've talked about. You can hear some of the stories that some of my other guests have mentioned that inspired them and their soul while they connected to nature and the lessons that they took away from it. In the next couple of minutes, what's the have to? Before we let everybody go for their weekend, what's the thing they have to know today, Kornelia, from you or from me?
The have to is just really slow down and listen within. That's a have to. It's like, slow down. You already are a master. You already have everything that you need inside. And now it's just your have to sit down and be the curious person to find out what that is.
Right. My have to for the audience would be is not once you slow down and you create space. I love your idea of taking a journal with you everywhere you go. I encourage my clients to write down what they observe and then write down what that makes them feel. And then write down, does that translate for them of, is there something missing or is there something that they need? I guess the other have to would be is whether you're in a big, gigantic city or out in the Pacific Northwest, like you and I are, you have to make an effort to look for nature and to bring it into your life in order for it to serve you and have the energy, feed you. So if you're in a big city, find a park, find a tree, go climb a tree, hug a tree, look at a dahlia garden or a tulip farm. You have to. The other day, I drove down to another city and I went to a tulip farm I'd never been to before. Now it wasn't authentic nature like a forest, but it was still nature because things are growing, things are colorful, things are maturing and nurturing, and I still allowed it to feed my soul. So in the last minute that we have, if people are interested in podcasting or working with you to help their voices come forward, how can they find you? And then we'll tell people how they can connect to me and to TTR.
radio@KorneliaStephanie.com. radio@KorneliaStephanie.com. Don't wait. Your life is waiting. It's now. So give us a call.
Okay, excellent. And people can find me at DianeMcClay.com. They can find me on Instagram with Coach with Diane. Twitter is Coach with Diane. And again, the YouTube channel, Diane McClay. We'd love to have you be a part of our family. And that means subscribing. That means connecting to the messaging that we have and letting us know how you feel. I'm old school. You can always send me a text and say thumbs up or thumbs down. I liked or didn't like what you have to say. That number is 503-317-8072. And I'll just leave you with my parting words, which are empower your life and engage your choice.
Thank you for listening to the Diane McClay Show, where you are empowered to enact change in your life through choice. You know that little voice in your head that's been telling you to pursue that passion project? Or maybe it's been screaming for you to go outside and explore the great outdoors. That voice is you, and you deserve to be heard. Listen, make a choice, make a change, and watch yourself grow. For more information about Diane or to work with her personally, visit DianeMcClay.com.